Following President Ramaphosa's delivery of the State of the Nation address, later today, the Government Communication and Information System, that's the GCIS, and the National Youth Development Agency will host a Twitter space for the youth to reflect on the contents of SONA. It will provide a platform for the youth to express their views on the SONA whilst exploring solutions to some of the country's foremost challenges like unemployment. A couple of the speakers is NYDA Board Chairperson Asanda Luwaca, Yolokazi Mfuto, who is a master's student at the Fort Hare University, and Zuleika Patel, who is a social justice activist. Well, we've actually got the NYDA chairperson with us, Asanda, and she's going to talk to us a little bit more about it. Asanda, so good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, Leanne. Thank you so much for having me on your show this morning.
Such a pleasure. So, all right, let's start off by getting the NYDA's perspective to the State of the Nation address and, you know, the amount that was sort of posed towards the youth. Did you feel comfortable with what the president was saying? Perhaps you can begin there.
You know, actually, there was just so much youth focus this year in the president's SONA today. This year. So as NYDA, I think we're very excited just to see, what will be some of, the debates that will take place. But equally so, we also just want to get a sense from young people insofar as, what do they think should, be some of the commitments and the response that the president makes, that he will be addressing tomorrow.
Obviously the response, I think, is happening this afternoon. So we will hear a little bit more about, some of the things that were brought up by opposition parties. But what for you is the main focus? Because at the end of the day, we can have lip service and we can always talk about, this is good, we're going to create jobs, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But at the end of the day, it's the youth that are struggling right now. It's the youth that don't have jobs. It's the youth that their future prospects appear to be very bleak at this point in time. So what, in effect, as the youth agency, would you like government to do to assist?
I think, Leanne, most importantly is really just to get tangible deliverables, right? So we can speak, we can go to town and back about, rhetoric, but ultimately, in the absence of there being tangible solutions to, the multitude of socioeconomic challenges that face young people, then it will be a futile exercise. So for us, we're really excited to hear, one, what the president will be responding with, but two, just the implementation of some of the commitments. Some of the really progressive commitments that the president made in his address last year, particularly to tackle the scourge of unemployment, the scourge of, tackling the triple challenges of inequality and poverty. So as the agency, where we are positioned and what we want to do is to leverage ourselves in a strategic way so that we are able to be that strategic mouthpiece that can negotiate on behalf, apologies for that, where we can we negotiate and be that mouthpiece on behalf of young people across the country.
Yeah, because, job creation is at the heart of all of it. And there's been such an argument at the moment whether what the president said with regard to jobs is something that, we need to unpack quite a bit, whether we talk about the fact that government doesn't create jobs, it only creates an environment for jobs, job creation, and it's up to the private sector to create these jobs. So perhaps we can dwell on that, and that as a policy going forward for the youth. Perhaps that works better or not. Maybe government actually acknowledging it is a good thing and business jumping on board. I don't know. You tell me from the youth side.
So I think, Leanne, what's important is for us when we speak about issues of youth unemployment and the challenges that young people face. What's important for us is just to go beyond just issues of employment. We've got many young people that want to get into businesses, and they're just finding it difficult, and they're finding it to be a costly exercise to start up a small or medium enterprise. So we equally welcome, and we've got a keen interest in the review of the the Business Act, where the president made mention that, some of the amendments in the review will make it easier and less costly for businesses to enter into the space. And you'll know that majority of, your small startup are young people. So that's just one avenue, the issues of ensuring that we create a conducive environment for young businesses to flourish. But two, equally, also not sidelining the idea or the issue of employment. Yes, private sector does need to come on board. And when we are positioned, ours is to, continuously lobby the private stakeholders to come on board, when there's investments and where there are opportunities, that there needs to be a set aside that is given primarily to young people. I think it's only through such initiatives where we'll be able to see tangible results insofar as the scourge of unemployment, particularly facing young people, are concerned.
There has been a call from different sectors of society to say that there really needs to be a very youth-focused and youth-specific policy to try and address unemployment, because, one does worry when you see that the youth unemployment rates are sitting, some people saying way above 60%. This is a recipe for disaster in any country, and people have been speaking to this, that when you have a youth that wake up with nothing to do and nowhere to go, then we start worrying about the things that they get involved in, and that they're getting to be an angry generation, which is what we're seeing. So when we talk about youth-centered and youth-focused issues to address the job creation, do you believe that there's enough being done? Because so many people are saying no, there isn't. There just are not opportunities available.
I think, Leanne, in all fairness, if we had to be honest with ourselves and say if there was enough that is being done, then we would not have the current situation that we have, right? Where, yes, we are a youthful population. The bulk of them are unemployed. They are struggling to enter into the mainstream economy. They're finding it difficult, for unemployed graduates. So I think we need to be fair when such arguments do come to us and say, look, and I think government really needs to take the voice of young people more seriously than what has been done in the past. It cannot just be a by the way, where majority of young people, majority of the population, in fact, are directly affected by these social and as well as economic ills. So I think, in fairness, there is so much more that can be done. But where we are positioned, there's a saying where we say, nothing about us without us. Right. So as opposed to us being on the periphery of decision making as it relates to young people, we are saying that no, we want to be part and parcel of those decisions. We want to have a key and strategic voice when such decisions are being taken. We can't have a situation where departments as well as private sector are just doing what they can as they please without there being a sense of accountability. And I think that's where the agency comes in, is that where we want to position ourselves is to ensure that we've got a footprint across departments, across private sector, so that whatever investment or whatever opportunity relates to the country, that young people have a stakeholder, and young people are also the direct beneficiaries of those. I think it's only through those meaningful discussions and strategically positioning ourselves that we'll be able to start seeing tangible and impactful results.
Yeah. When we go back and we look and reread some of the issues or the promises that the president did make in the speech, he said that he announced there'll be Home Affairs are going to recruit 10,000 unemployed young people for the digitization of paper records. So that's one thing he did say, enhancing their skills, contributing to the modernization of citizen services, also saying the Social Employment Fund will create 50,000 work opportunities for the youth using the capability of organizations beyond government in urban agriculture, early childhood development. These kind of things are the points that he did say needed to be done. But the reality is that there is a very, very difficult path ahead for the youth. Also saying that, this sayouth.mobi platform, that's another thing that has to happen. So talk to us about, some of the things that perhaps the NYDA do to assist.
Yeah. So where we are positioned, Aliane, we've got also one. I really just maybe want to take you a year back.
Yeah.
So the president in his last year's address made announcements on the NYDA as well as the Department of Small Business Development collaborating and funding 1,000 youth-owned businesses in 100 days. So where we are, I think that ought to be the first point, is to just track what has been the progress insofar as that implementation is concerned. But specifically as it relates to the agency, we've got various products and services that seek to advance youth development. We issue and we provide grant funding for startups, NPOs, as well as the education aspect. We've got scholarships and we offer bursaries to young and deserving individuals. You'll know that, for instance, NSFAS had indicated that they've got a deficit of I think 9 billion. So there is a shortfall rather of that amount where they won't be able to accommodate deserving students. So we are obviously engaging NSFAS as one of our stakeholders, as well as Treasury, just to try and see if we can have more funding that goes into this financial aid scheme. So we've got the education aspects, we've got the job, the business, as well as NPOs, grant funding. But then we also have a portal that you've alluded to, the Jobs SA.mobi platform. It's a zero-rated platform where we seek to match young people, prospective employers with prospective employees. So if you've got a business on the other end and you need to, or you would like to employ X amount of employees, you go onto our website, you register your business, and then what the system does is that it will match you with the best prospective insofar as what that particular person would have submitted insofar as their resume is concerned. But also on the other end, we've also got young people who are seeking jobs who can access these opportunities on our platform. And also just to reiterate that it is a zero-rated platform. So that means that you don't need to have data, because we also are alive to the realities of the high data costs in South Africa. So you don't have to have data. You can just go onto the platform and register yourself, and through the system you'll be able to access and have access to those opportunities.
All right, so we've got the Twitter Spaces coming up. So I think you were saying it's happening tomorrow. Is that correct? What time? Give us some details. Who can join? I suppose Twitter's anybody can join. It's going to be one of those big platforms. Talk to us about details.
Yes, Leanne, it's actually tonight.
It's tonight, I beg your pardon. Okay.
Yes, tonight at 6 p.m. So anyone who's on, the Twitter space, you're welcome to join. It will be just an interactive session where we really just engage young people on, what are their ideas, what are their challenges, and how best can we not just position the agency, but, how can we respond to the challenges? So yeah, it's really just to inculcate this culture of, creating an agency that is easily accessible to young people. And you'll know that majority of young people are on social media. So what better platform than social media and Twitter, where young people can voice out whatever opinions they have, and we'll just have a festival of ideas, basically.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. If there's one place where you want to go for some uncensored ideas, you go to Twitter, and that's what it's all about. So 6 o'clock tonight, Twitter Spaces. NYDA is hosting a conversation with regard to the State of the Nation address and some of the issues that are affecting the youth. Go out there, join them. They've got a nice host of guests that will be speaking, and this is between the GCIS and the National Youth Development Agency, and we were just chatting to the chairperson of the NYDA, Asanda Luwaca. Thanks, Asanda. Have a wonderful day and good luck with it for this evening.